All right, Rangers fans, let's get stuck in. January's looking like it's going to be a busy one at Ibrox, and the pieces are starting to fall into place. While everyone's been fixated on who might be arriving, there's been just as much movement happening behind the scenes, with the squad reshaping itself. Danny Rowe and the recruitment team have been working quietly, and now we're beginning to see the bigger picture that matters, because a Premier League club has now stepped forward and confirmed their position, effectively giving Rangers the green light to sort things out. It's a significant moment in what's been a fairly big reshuffle, and it helps the club get a clearer direction as they juggle the demands of the present with the plans for the future. But before we dive deeper into that, there's some important off-the-pitch news that's been confirmed. A six-figure proposal for restoring several areas around Ibrox has been given the go-ahead after supporters signed off at the first approval stage. Last month, RFC News reported that Club 1872 had been in talks with Andrew Kavanagh and the club's hierarchy about restoring parts of the ground that hold real historical significance for the fans. That came shortly after it emerged. The board had launched a consultation survey asking supporters for their thoughts on potential stadium expansion, upgrades to hospitality, and improvements to the matchday experience. Club 1872 were given the chance to shape a series of heritage projects following talks with the board about a £220,000 investment. As part of the agreement, the supporters group will also have the opportunity to invest in future fundraising rounds to increase their shareholding. One of the key areas proposed for restoration is the three rooms at the top of the famous marble staircase: the trophy room, the blue room, and the manager's office. The aim is to improve lighting, preserve the artifacts, and upgrade the fabric of each space while also restoring the paintings in the blue room. It's the kind of project that really matters to the club's history, and it's great to see it being treated with the respect it deserves. The plans also include conservation and restoration of the lion crest mosaic at both ends of the main stand, along with work on the entrance porch mosaic. There's also a structural engineering assessment on the cards designed to define the scope for future preservation and restoration of the iconic archable lake structure. It's a part of the stadium that's often overlooked, but it's central to Ibrox's identity, and it's long overdue some attention. The white steel framework above the club deck could be cleaned as part of the process, while the blue track surrounding the pitch is also in need of repairs. It might not be the most glamorous work, but it's the kind of maintenance that keeps the place looking sharp and honors the legacy of the ground. There's also talk of the John Greig statue receiving a protective wax coating, and the same treatment could be applied to the Walter Smith statue, along with new lighting installations to make them stand out more. It's not just about the big headline-grabbing upgrades. It's about the small details that matter to the supporters. Members have now given their approval to the plans following a vote in recent weeks, and work will now begin to finalize costs and get the projects underway. It's a sign that Club 1872 and the Ibrox board are working together in a more collaborative way, and that's something that should be welcomed by the fan base. In a statement, Club 1872 said they were delighted to announce that the poll on the proposed funding of various heritage projects had been approved, with 92% of contributors voting yes. They added that the club will now proceed to secure final costings with vendors and suppliers, and as individual projects begin, they will provide fuller breakdowns and progress updates. This approach marks the start of a new phase in the relationship between Club 1872 and the club, one that's more focused on heritage and shareholding The group made it clear that it's grounded in ongoing investment and supporting the wider Rangers community, ensuring contributors see tangible benefits for their donations. It's just the beginning of this new phase, and they're already looking to identify further projects to partner on with the club. They thanked contributors for their support and participation in the poll, and it's fair to say the response from the supporters has been overwhelmingly positive. Now, moving back to the football side of things, Rangers have agreed a defender deal that has now been officially confirmed by a Premier League club, bringing clarity to the future of one of their former academy prospects. The move sees Cameron Scott complete a switch to Burnley, where he will link up with the club's under-20 squad at Turf Moor. Scott, who is 18, joined Rangers at just 9 years old and has spent the bulk of his development within the Light Blues academy system. After a successful trial period with Andy Farrell's side, the Scotland under-17 international has earned himself a long-term opportunity south of the border, signing a contract that will run until the summer of 2027. Primarily used as a left-back, Scott's versatility has been a standout feature of his development. He's also comfortable operating at centre-back and has even been deployed further forward on the left wing. That flexibility is something Burnley view as a major asset as they continue to build for the future. Speaking after the move was confirmed, Scott admitted the attraction of joining a Premier League club was a decisive factor. He said, "It's a great feeling to be there, and when you're younger, you always want to be at the top clubs. Being at a Premier League club like Burnley was really attractive to him." He also mentioned that there are quite a few Scottish lads around the building, including Ellis Clark, who he played against for years, and Muzz, who is from the same area. He said he really enjoyed his 2 weeks there. The setup's really good, and the training ground is phenomenal, so it was a no-brainer. Burnley's academy manager, Chris Casper, also spoke about the deal, highlighting Scott's mentality and physical profile. He said Cameron is a strong addition to their under-21 group ahead of the second half of the season. He was impressed with Scott's attitude and technical ability on trial and with the physical profile to match. He's looking forward to seeing him fulfill his potential at the club. With Burnley now formally confirming the agreement, Rangers' role in Scott's development comes to a close as the young defender takes the next step in his career within a Premier League environment. In other news, Lyle Cameron has vowed he will work hard to repay Aberdeen fans as he addressed the anger over his loan move from Rangers. Some sections of the Aberdeen support were furious when Cameron joined from Rangers for the rest of the season, and a banner in the home end at Pittodrie on Sunday, where Cameron made his debut, simply read, "No old firm loans." Addressing the noise around his move, Cameron told BBC Scotland that he doesn't go on social media or that kind of thing. Before he came up, he knew what the reaction of the fans was going to be, but he said that's fair enough. He just needs to come up and perform and work hard for the team, and he's going to keep doing that. So hopefully he can repay the fans. Right, so the next bit of business for Rangers is that January window, and it's shaping up to be one of the most decisive periods of the season. You can feel the urgency around the place. The squad needs a bit of a refresh, and the club know they can't afford to hang about. There's a fine line between making the right moves and making rushed decisions, but the sense I'm getting is that they're trying to be methodical. That's what you want to see. You don't want a bunch of panic buys that look great on paper, but don't fit the dressing room or the style of play. The recruitment team have been working hard, And the fact that a Premier League club has confirmed a deal involving one of Rangers' young talents suggests the club are getting their house in order. It's a sign that the plan is being executed, and that's a good thing. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Rangers are in a position where they need to balance the short-term needs of the squad with long-term planning. The club can't just look at the next few weeks. They have to look at the next few seasons. That's why the current reshuffle is so important. It's not just about bringing players in. It's about understanding what the squad looks like, who fits the manager's ideas, and who might need to move on to make room for new talent. That's part of the reason the move for Cameron Scott is significant. It's a reminder that Rangers have a very strong academy, but not everyone will make it into the first team, and that's okay. What matters is that the club is producing players who are attractive to clubs at the highest level. Cameron Scott's move to Burnley is a good example of that. He's a young player who has come through the system, and now he's been given a chance to test himself in a different environment. It's the sort of move that can be a real boost to a player's development. The English game is different. It's physical and fast, and the standard in the Premier League is high. If Scott can settle in and continue to improve, it could be a stepping stone to something even bigger. From Rangers' point of view, it also shows that the club can develop talent that is recognised beyond Scotland. That's a positive for the academy and for the club's reputation. But let's not forget the emotional side of these moves. For fans, it's always a mixed feeling when a young player leaves. You want to see them succeed, but there's also a sense of pride in seeing them progress through the ranks at Ibrox. There's a certain attachment that comes with having a player come through the youth system, and that's why it's important for the club to manage these transitions carefully. The way the club handles departures can have a big impact on the morale of the squad and the supporters. In Scott's case, the move seems to have been handled professionally, and the fact that Burnley have confirmed the deal helps clear up any uncertainty. That clarity is important, especially when the transfer window is in full swing. Meanwhile, back in the Scottish Premiership, the situation with Lyle Cameron at Aberdeen has been a talking point. The reaction from some sections of the fans was predictable, given the history between the clubs, but it's also a reminder of how passionate supporters are and how much pride they take in their club. Cameron's response has been measured, and that's what you want from a young player. He's not going to get dragged into the drama. He's focused on his football, and he knows that's the best way to win over the supporters. He's also been honest about the reaction he expected, and that's a sign of maturity. It's not always easy to walk into a club where the fans are already skeptical, but if he performs and gives his all, he can change the narrative. On the pitch, Aberdeen's performance in his debut was solid, if not spectacular. They got the job done, and that's what matters in the end. Cameron admitted that things could have been tidier and that they could have taken more chances, but the result is what counts. That's the mindset you need in the league. You don't always play perfectly, but you have to grind out results, and that's the kind of attitude that will endear him to the fans if he keeps showing it. The pressure is on, but he's shown he's not afraid of it. That's a good sign for Aberdeen, and it's also a reminder for Rangers that their young players are capable of making an impact elsewhere. So where does that leave Rangers as we move further into the window? Well, the club are clearly trying to get their business done early, which makes sense. The longer you leave it, the more difficult it becomes. Prices rise, options disappear, and you start making compromises. Rangers have to be careful not to get drawn into a bidding war or to overpay for players who might not fit the system. The club have a strong core, but they need reinforcements in key areas. It's a balancing act, and it's one that requires patience and discipline. The recruitment team will have to be ruthless in their decision-making. They have to identify players who can come in and make an immediate impact, but also players who fit the long-term vision. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers are stirring around Ibrox after a startling incident in what was meant to be a low-profile training session. Bojan Miovski, the Macedonian striker who has been catching eyes in the Premiership, was reportedly carried off on a stretcher while shouting in obvious distress. Sources close to the squad suggest that the injury could be serious, leaving the Rangers faithful worried about the timing ahead of a crucial clash against Ludo. The training, shrouded in secrecy, was intended to sharpen the team's sharpness and integrate new tactical ideas without prying eyes. Yet, the drama unfolded swiftly, casting a shadow over what should have been a routine session. Witnesses describe a tense scene, with medical staff rushing to assess Miovski before quickly removing him from the pitch. Rumors are now circulating in the corridors of the club, with some insiders fearing that this might sideline the striker for a significant period, potentially altering the team's attacking dynamics. Miovski, who has become a vital figure for both Rangers and the North Macedonian national team, has been in fine form, offering pace, finishing, and a presence that few defences in Scotland can ignore. Losing him, even temporarily, could force the manager into tactical reshuffles, leaving questions over who might step into the void and how the front line will cope without their talisman. Fans are already speculating on social media, with theories ranging from minor muscle strains to more severe injuries that could jeopardize the remainder of his season. Inside Ibrox, whispers suggest the squad is rallying, but the atmosphere is understandably tense. The Rangers coaching staff are reportedly weighing options, considering adjustments that might mitigate the impact of Miovski's absence. Meanwhile, supporters are left to wonder if the injury might force a rethink in upcoming transfer plans or even change how the team approaches the European fixtures. The uncertainty has ignited a flurry of speculation, with pundits debating the possible consequences for both domestic ambitions and continental dreams. For now, Rangers fans can only watch and wait, hoping that the latest scare does not turn into a long-term setback. Miovski's absence, even for a short spell, would be a blow to a side striving to maintain momentum in the Premiership while navigating the challenges of European competition. The secret training session that promised progress has instead given rise to worry, leaving the question hanging: is the season at risk for one of Scotland's rising stars? Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.